All right, then. Welcome back to the verdict. Well, yes, we'll have Professor Akin Oyebode here with us. He's a former Vice Chancellor of University of Ado-Ekiti. Prof, good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Well, how has it turned out for you? I mean, certainly on your way here, you must have gone through taking notes, especially when you're coming to an election studio. What did you see of interest today?
Well, I saw kids playing football on the Third Mainland Bridge. And where I live, the turnout was reasonable from the cars parked. And it's an area which we did not expect a large turnout. But because of promises by the candidates, one of them saying that he was going to scrap the toll gate, I think that will have brought many people out.
Oh, wow.
Because you pay heavily for using the link bridge or using the regular toll gates. So I don't know, but it seems that INEC has improved considerably on its track record from the last time. And although there's still necessity for an audit in order to improve the deformed liberal democracy we are practicing, but I think for now, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And again, because this might be the last turnout before the next 4 years, people are taking advantage of making a political statement. Because some of us were very skeptical of the whole exercise. But I think we should give kudos to INEC for a job well done.
Were you surprised, though, with the reports that were emanating from the field, some of our reporters reporting that ad hoc staff of INEC are protesting non-payment of their monies from the previous election, and this is affecting the current one going on, and it seems to suggest to many, like in Kushofe, where shown is 55,000 people may be affected as a result of this in 84 polling units.
Yes, it's understandable. As I said previously, we are operating a deformed liberal democracy. Our liberal democracy has not come of age. There are what you can call deleterious consequences for practicing a work in progress. We have to get rid of the rough edges of our democracy so that we can rest assured that we got our act together. There are so many things to complain about. If you compare with a small country like Madagascar, we didn't have all those rough edges. As monitors, we left hotels at 5 o'clock in the morning. We couldn't take breakfast. We just took some snacks and whatever and hit the road. And by the time we got to the polling area, the polling units, we found the staff ready, stacking the ballot boxes and ready to go. And that's a high level of responsibility. I don't know how they financed their staff, but we found everybody ready. Here, INEC does not have permanent staff on the scale of the 98,000 polling units in the country. So they have to rely on NYSC participants and what have you. But I don't know. I think we have to improve on the modalities for the practice of democracy.
I don't know how you view this, because we have to dot the I's and cross the T's in this situation. It seems to suggest that some people are coming up with this theory that it just might be a deliberate action in Lagos State, because if the ad hoc staff don't get paid in the biggest local government area in Lagos State, in Kushofe, then it's a source of concern. Do you see it as such, that perhaps there could be some funny fingers that are playing around the possibility of, or should I say, the progressivity of having the elections conducted today?
I don't believe so much in conspiracy theories. And Kushofe is not the largest. Alimosho is the largest local government in Nigeria. I didn't hear any report of any fallout in Alimosho local government, whose population is larger than that of many African countries. So if there was sabotage, I think it could have been handled better. I will put the blame on the inadvertence or incompetence of the supervisors, the staff that should take care of such. I mean, nobody wants to work for free. And because even you will not accept to work for free.
What makes this a little more of concern is the fact that the function that these ad hoc staff have to perform, it was an issue that was raised 2 weeks ago, and of course INEC was quick to respond to it, and when the election eventually took place, it was well handled by INEC. But this time around, what happened? What could have happened that the same thing we complained about 3 weeks ago is resurfacing 3 weeks after, even though it was taken care of 2 weeks ago?
Well, I listened to Sheung, and the protesters were very angry at the lack of payment for previous time. I think the election there was postponed, and they were around, and they want to be paid. I think Sheung asked, did they want to be paid before participate? I know only lawyers get paid before going to court. You settle your brief before you have it. But it's not too much to ask them to do the needful, and in the next 48 hours or so, their money will be wired to them.
Perhaps they don't trust the system?
Well, I take it we have to trust ourselves generally. Otherwise, modern society will not work. The money, I understand, is in the central bank. All they were saying is that they could not get any alert of money forthcoming. So my hunch is that we have to learn from this mistake. Either treat them all as lawyers, you pay them before service, but that's a big risk in a country like ours. Because once people get paid, then they can think of 1,001 alibis.
Being a former VC of a university, you must know how children of that age would think.
No, these are not children. These are young adults.
Well, they are children.
No. Look,
I'm not children in a loose term.
Look, when you look at them, it's a question of how committed to the idea of Nigeria. And somebody here said we've defaulted in terms of civic education, upbringing of young people in this country, commitment to society and to the good of Nigeria. Not only Africa, the world looks up to Nigeria. We are still the largest democracy on the African continent. And if something as ordinary as elections we are deteriorating to the level of DRC or some other unfortunate country, then it's a sad story. So I think we have to be conscious of the role we play in Africa. Okay, why people from South Africa to Algeria are interested in what happens in Nigeria. So many people are not conscious of that. We sometimes lay claim to being the giant of Africa, all this and that. But when you now come to pay the cost of being giant of Africa, we start inventing alibis. So I think the time of excuses is long past. Nigeria should either ship up or ship out. If you don't want to be recognized as a big, important country in Africa, then we can afford all these lapses. These are rough edges that we can do without. I think it's too late in the day, in 2019, to be giving us excuses for non-performance. In other places, failure has consequences. When you fail, either you resign because you admit your lack of capacity, or you are put on some other act of penance to make good for your inadvertence or recklessness, because these are things that are quite clearly foreseeable. And in my view, if we fail to take adequate precautions and we don't even have what you call a plan B in case our plan does not work out, I think it's a sad commentary on the state of affairs in the country.
But what about us, the people, Prof? Do you think we're asking enough questions? Are we demanding enough of the relevant authorities to ensure our democracy improves?
Well, Chamberlain, not everybody is at the level of awareness that you exude. Because I listened to you, very intelligent panel, you ask troublesome questions of people, and they have nowhere to run or hide. But the ordinary person, either he left and forgot, as we say, Or he said, well, make we do them as they sabi or whatever. Nigerians are an easy people to cajole. They don't ask these probing questions. You are trained journalists, so you know what society should demand of leaders. Those ordinary people, they feel that the administrators are inscrutable gods, and they can get away with murder because no sanction is applied for failure to act properly. I think that is our undoing. We have to establish criteria for performance and then ensure that the strict rules of good governance are imbibed and applied. Not let people go away sulking and frustrated because the administrators fail to deliver. So I agree with you entirely. We need higher consciousness by the generality of the people to make Nigeria a better society.
What will it take to educate people to that point? Because this is a long time coming. You are well aware of what efforts have been made by several governments over the years, but it doesn't seem to just get down to the grassroots or even to the relevant people early enough or in good enough time.
Well, we have to keep on trying. The first elections I witnessed...
Sorry, is there something wrong with our communication apparatus, infrastructure, architecture, or it's just the people?
Well, it's both structural and managerial. As a young child, I saw the 1959 elections. That's about 50 years ago. Don't ask me how old I am. And under colonial administration, we didn't have these lapses. Then maybe I was too young to be sufficiently discerning to recognize the lapses by the colonial government. Then the next set of elections we were going to have was 64. Of course, by 65, all hell broke loose. So, and since then, we've been making a regression. We have not been making progress. Then the military came and stole political will, political space. And by 1979, when they handed over power, there were so many recriminations, accusations and counter-accusations. So that by 1983, when again we had a military hijacking of the political space for the next maybe 30 years, we lacked the experience. Now, we are grateful and lucky that 20 years non-stop, we've been trying to perfect our system. So maybe we should not be too harsh on ourselves, that you can't cheat history. You just must pay your dues. We are wishing, everybody is wishing, myself included, that we have a seamless cycle of elections. I have here pleaded for electronic voting, electronic transmission and collation, so that within 24 hours, we will have results. I've even suggested that we need exit polls. Yeah. We need effective pollings by newspapers so that we have an attitude of the trend, political trend. Ask questions. And you are people, you are agenda setters. People like you should be able to say, well, we think our projections give the impression that so is leading. And, well, Nigerians have to decide. We don't have all that here. We just go blindfolded to the polling station and then hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So quite sincerely, I think we have a job cut out for us. Because the role that the media plays, we gave Professor Phillips the notion of talking about mediacracy. It is the media that determines. You give the impression that the people actually determine. The media people, they set the agenda. And the way, look at what is happening to Trump today. He claimed to have won, although he didn't really win. Electoral college favored him. But now, once he selected the media as public enemy number one, the media, they have not let go of him. And until they kick him in the ass. Honestly, you can't fight the media and win. So you have tremendous responsibility as opinion makers, agenda setters, to ensure that we get it right.
Yeah, the media holds the airwaves in public trust, so they'll keep doing what we can while we can. But the governor of Cross River State has also voted. I think he has a comment or two as well. But thereafter, we'll go to break. I'll be back shortly.